Entire generations are choosing to stay single. Not for a few extra years, but possibly forever. In cities from Tokyo to Mumbai, Seoul to Bangkok, millions of young men and women are simply not getting married. Not because they cannot, but because something deeper is broken. In Japan, marriage rates have dropped over 40% in 2 decades. In South Korea, they have plunged by half. China recorded its lowest marriage registration in history last year. The number of people staying single well into their 30s is also hitting record numbers. But if Asia is known for its strong family culture, if marriage is the foundation of our homes, our ritual, our economy, then why we are walking away from it? It's not revelation, it's exhaustion. Young people are drowning in student loan, late education, unstable jobs, and rising cost of living. They are told to chase success first and love later. But by the time they are ready, they are alone, burnt out, and unsure if love even fits anymore. And therefore, marriage has become a delayed dream. And for many, a dream that quickly bury. But what does this mean for the future? What happens when love becomes unaffordable? When intimacy is postponed and generations stop forming families? That's where the real story begins. Actually, it was never about love. It was about building a life together, a home, a future, and a shared path. But today, that path costs too much. A wedding in an Indian city can cost anywhere from 10 lakh to 25 lakh. In Korea, couple of spend over $100,000 including gift and housing prep. In China, buying a house before marriage has become an unspoken rule and the pressure falls on the groom. Can we call it love? No, it's definitely a transaction happening and the cost don't end there too. Most Asian youth spend their early 20s studying, then struggling through low-paying jobs in their late 20s and reach their 30s still trying to settle. By then, they are chasing EMIs, not emotions. In the present times, a full-time job does not mean security, rent is rising, childcare is unaffordable. Time is being eaten alive by the hustle economy. But while tradition says marry and build a life, the system now demands build a life before you can marry. And that bar keeps moving higher. Therefore, many people give up. Not because they stop believing in marriage, but because they cannot afford to believe in it anymore. And as they delay, the doubt grows. Loneliness sets in, expectations rises, and marriage starts to feel like a fantasy from a different era. So what happens to love when life becomes a constant bill? Marriage is not just a personal milestone. It's the starting point of families, and families are the building blocks of society. But what happens when people stop building? We are already seeing the consequences. Asia is growing older and that too at a faster pace than West. In South Korea, the fertility rate has dropped to 0.7, the lowest in the world. In Japan, one third of population under 40 says they never plan to marry. Even in India, the most youthful nation, urban fertility is dipping below the replacement levels. But does not fewer marriages mean fewer children? And fewer children means fewer workers. And fewer workers means more pressure on aging population. This is not just sad, it's unsustainable. It looks like the pension system will collapse. Lonely elders will outnumber caretakers, and entire towns, like what's already happening in Japan, will simply vanish. Therefore, it is not just a love crisis, it's a population crisis, a productivity crisis, and a crisis of purpose. A society without stable relationships becomes society without continuity, and the future becomes something people no longer prepare for. They are only surviving the days. Now the point is, what makes it worse? Is it no one talking about it? Not the parents, not government, and not even the youth themselves. Everyone seems to be waiting for something to change, but no one actually knows what that something is anymore. In the age of hyperconnectivity, young people are more disconnected than ever. They are scrolling through endless feed, swiping left and right, building careers. But when it comes to building relationships, something is missing. But what happened to the dream of real connection? Youth today are caught in a cycle. Work, study, achieve. But love seems like a distinct luxury. And even when they find it, it feels fleeting. But it's not just the lack of time, it's the emotional cost. When you have been told to achieve first, You are conditioned to see relationships as goals and not as partnership, as something to check off rather than to build. But building love takes vulnerability, it takes trust, and in the world where jobs are uncertain and your future is on the line, trust feels like a risk. Therefore, the emotional walls are higher, romantic relationships become just another thing to manage and another task in the list of busy, disjoint life. The intimacy once promised in a marriage, it becomes a distant memory, and loneliness, it's no longer just something you feel on a Saturday night. It's permanent companion. This generation may have everything except for the one thing that makes life worth living, that is connection. But the loneliness is not even the worst part. The worst part is the emptiness that comes when life feels like a series of check boxes with no real meaning behind them. In this collapsing system, everyone feels the pressure, but for women, the burden is heavier. Today's women are more educated than ever. They are topping exams, leading companies, building future on their own terms. But while society celebrates their success, it still accepts them to settle down early, to be ambitious but not intimidating, independent but still manageable, strong but still willing to compromise. And this dual pressure, it's breaking them. In cities across Asia, highly educated women are struggling to find partners who match their emotional, intellectual, and financial standards. In China, they are known as leftover women. In India, they are often told, don't wait too long, the good voyage will be taken. But why it is that men succeed, they gain options, and when women succeed, they lose them? Because many women no longer see marriage as a step forward. They say they are seeing it as a gamble. They are questioning, will it bring peace or more unpaid labor? Will they get a partner or just another child to raise? Therefore, more women are opting out, not because they don't want love, but because they refuse to sink themselves for it. But walking away is not easy either. They are judged for being too picky, blamed for family disappointments, and left alone to carry the weight of their own decision and their culture's same. This does not feel like empowerment. This feels more like exhaustion. And the tragedy is that we keep telling women they can be anything. But when they choose to be everything, they are told that they are too much. If you want to see the future of Asia, you can have a look at Japan. Japan entered this crisis long before the rest of Asia. And now it's not just a country, it's a warning. In the 1990s, as jobs grew uncertain and work culture became more brutal, young Japanese delayed marriages. They focused on career, they stayed with parents, they worked and waited. But the right time never came. Today, over 25% of Japanese men and women in their 40s have never married. The fertility rate has dropped to just 1.3. This is the perfect time to remind you that the replacement rate for population is 2.1, and over 10 million people now live completely alone, many with no family, no children, and no one to call. But this is not just about numbers. It's about emotion, isolation, a loneliness so deep Japan had to invent a term. The term is kodukushi, and it means death by loneliness. In some towns, schools have shut down permanently, stores are closing, entire villages are disappearing. Even the government cannot keep up with the population collapse. And here's the part no one saw coming. Even those who want to marry now cannot. They have grown too distant, too awkward, and too afraid to connect. They have forgotten how to fall in love. Therefore, Japan now spends billions encouraging marriage with children and childbirth. They offer dating subsidies, government sponsored matchmakers, parental leave scheme. But the culture, the fear, the disconnection, it's already settled in. And the question is, if Japan is the future, how far behind are we? This far, we have known that this story is not just about the marriage. It's a story about meaning. We are told study hard, get a job, fall in love, start a family, and that's a life. But somewhere along the way, life got delayed, postponed, and placed out. It was replaced by deadlines, degrees, promotion, and performance. Now a generation stands at the edge of adulthood with no partner, no home, and no clarity. To make the things worse, there is no reason to hope. The big question is still there. What happens to a society that forgets how to connect? What happens to a nation when homes don't form, where children are not born, and where love is just line in a spreadsheet? Marriage is not just a ceremony, it's the start of something. When it breaks down, the future does too. Therefore, we must ask, if the youth are walking away from marriage, are they walking towards something better or just walking alone? So, here's the question: if this generation does not build families, what will be the next one be born into? Or will there even be a next generation of people in these countries?